People like you don't shop for cars like this. You need to leave. Erica Monroe said it straight-faced, without hesitation. Standing in the center of Pinnacle Auto's luxury showroom like she owned every inch of marble beneath her heels. Her words didn't stumble. They sliced. And the woman she was addressing, calm, still, dressed in faded jeans and worn sneakers, didn't flinch. Dr. Lena Harper stood with quiet poise beside a $95,000 Mercedes, her posture dignified, her eyes sharp. Around them, customers turned, some looked confused, others pretended not to notice. One white man near the Rolls-Royce display chuckled, what Erica didn't know, what no one in that room could possibly know. Was that in exactly 30 minutes? The woman she had just dismissed would fire her entire staff, without raising her voice, without breaking composure, and the world would be watching. If you've ever been treated like you didn't belong, stay with this story. This isn't about shouting. It's about quiet power, exposed lies, and what happens when truth walks into the room and refuses to back down. Before we continue, I want to know, where are you watching from? Drop it in the comments. What comes next will change everything. Lena had entered the Dallas showroom just 10 minutes before, wearing the opposite of power. Faded gray tee, old denim, no makeup, and her hair in a low ponytail. She had driven up in a 2017 Nissan Altima. No security, no assistant. The plan was simple. Go in alone, unannounced, and observe. Erica had ignored her completely at first, too busy chatting with Gordon Vance, a white venture capitalist with a smirk that never seemed to leave his face. After 4 minutes, Lena approached the receptionist podium. That's when Erica finally looked up, eyes scanning her top to toe with something close to contempt. "Scan your client verification," she said, pointing to a wall-mounted device near the desk. Lena raised a brow. "Excuse me?" Erica crossed her arms. "We don't show our top-tier models unless we verify who we're talking to. It's policy." It wasn't policy. It was profiling. Plain and simple. A tactic Lena had seen before, in retail, in boardrooms, in restaurants. It hadn't changed. She took out a secondary ID under an alias she kept active for test scenarios like this. Erica barely glanced at it before dismissing it. "Invalid. Try again," before Lena could respond. Gordon stepped closer and shoved her phone off the counter. It hit the tile hard. "Keep this area clear," he snapped, as if she were luggage left in the wrong terminal. The sound echoed. The silence after it was heavier than the noise. Lena slowly picked up her phone. She said nothing. She didn't need to. A woman sitting across the showroom met her gaze and gave a subtle nod. It was Priya Shah, Lena's corporate attorney, positioned in advance, disguised as a curious shopper. She was filming everything. Meanwhile, another customer, Diego Ruiz, had already gone live. A lifestyle influencer with 500,000 followers. He was live streaming from his phone, camera now fixed on Lena. "Pinnacle Autos just profiled this woman," he said to his audience. "You're watching it unfold. Don't scroll." Lena pressed a discreet button on the bracelet beneath her sleeve. "Maya, activate Protocol 9, she said quietly. From her office across town, Maya Chen replied. "It's live and logging. Ma'am." The bracelet blinked green. Erica had no idea she'd just triggered a full system alert. Lena turned back to her. "You might want to slow down," Erica scoffed. "And you might want to check our job listings. Service department's always hiring." The insult hung in the air. Gordon laughed under his breath, then slid a folded note across the counter toward Lena. She didn't open it, but Diego's camera caught it. "Used lots are more your type." His audience surged into the tens of thousands. "This is disgusting," he muttered. Lena spoke softly. "You're killing your own business, Erica." "You're wasting my time," Erica shot back. This area's reserved for real buyers. Verify me, then, Lena said, unless you're afraid of what you'll find. Erica leaned forward. You're not registered. You're just another nobody pretending to belong. No, Lena said. I'm the one you'll regret misjudging, Priya whispered. All captured. Audio's clean. Lena nodded. Send it to corporate. Copy Maya. Gordon watched with amusement, then added loudly. She doesn't belong in here. Someone show her the exit. Priya stepped closer. You're wrong, she told him calmly. You have no idea who she is. Diego zoomed in again. This just hit 75,000 live views. Keep watching. Erica rolled her eyes. Security's coming. I don't care who's filming. Lena's bracelet vibrated again. A new update. Protocol 9 has reached corporate visibility, Maya said through the discreet channel. Streaming has been mirrored. It wasn't just Diego's phone now. Lena's test feed was live across Novatech's internal compliance division. Every second was archived. Priya leaned in again. We're about to hit escalation. Gordon raised his voice. If you can't afford it, don't touch it. He gestured toward the Mercedes. Erica followed up with another jab. This isn't a test drive zone. Please step back before we make this official. You already have, Lena said. Every second you've opened your mouth. At that moment, Erica reached under the desk and moved Lena's car keys, still sitting from her initial check-in, into a drawer marked Unclaimed. A small action, invisible to most, but the live stream caught it. So did Protocol 9. Maya, Lena said. Mark that movement. Logged and verified, came the reply. Priya's phone buzzed. It's picked up by Bloomberg. They're watching. Lena didn't move. She simply looked at the logo above the entrance. Pinnacle Autos, granite floors, luxury cars, polished air, and behind it all, bias as old as the building's foundation. You wanted verification? Lena asked softly. Fine. Let's verify everything. James Holt stormed out of his corner office the moment Erica waved him over. His voice arrived before he did. What's the problem here? He asked. Glancing between Lena and Erica, Erica pointed at Lena with a rehearsed tone. She's not a client. She refused to verify and she's disrupting the floor. Lena turned to face him calmly. I didn't refuse anything. I offered ID. She refused to look. James narrowed his eyes. Ma'am, are you aware this is a premium dealership? Before Lena could answer, Gordon Vance inserted himself again. She scratched the display car, he announced, loudly enough for the nearby customers to hear. Several heads turned. She leaned in with a ring on and scraped it. There was no ring. There was no scratch. But Diego, still filming, zoomed in on Gordon's face. You're lying on camera, he said, his voice cutting through the mounting noise. Erica ignored it. James, I recommend we remove her before this turns into a scene. James glanced at the Mercedes, then at Lena. Did you touch the car? Lena didn't break eye contact. I walked past it. That's all. Erica huffed, folding her arms. She walked past, looked at it, but won't provide credentials. And now we're being recorded. James looked unsettled. We need to protect the inventory. Priya, quietly watching nearby, stepped forward. Your customer is being falsely accused. The real question is, why is she being treated this way? Erica ignored her. Ryan, she called out. Can you check if this guest is flagged in the system? From the client services desk, Ryan Tate pulled up a tablet. One moment. Nope. Not showing her as verified. He tapped a few more keys and then added. Flagging her as unauthorized now. Lena's bracelet blinked again. Priya saw it and leaned in. They just edited your profile in the system. Protocol 9 is logging, Lena said. Let them keep digging. Gordon raised his voice again, making sure everyone nearby could hear. She's probably trying to sue or fake some discrimination angle. Typical playbook. Erica smirked. Maybe she should apply for a cleaning role. She's already dressed for it. Someone in the back chuckled. Lena didn't blink. Erica, James, you're compounding liability with every word. Erica waved her hand. James, this is wasting time. We've got actual clients, Priya whispered. This is a legal violation, and it's all on stream. Lena nodded slightly. Maya, she said quietly, go to phase 2. Maya's voice returned in her earpiece. Pushing escalation. Legal team is standing by. At the front of the showroom, 2 customers moved closer, their phones now clearly filming. One of them, a younger black woman in business attire, whispered to Diego. This is exactly what happened to me last week here. Diego widened his lens. Say that louder, he encouraged. We're at 90,000 viewers. Erica's tone shifted to performance. We welcome everyone here, but security policies are policies, Priya scoffed. She was denied service the moment she walked in. Lena looked over. What's the car worth again? 95 grand. Priya replied. Then let's see if they'd rather lose $95,000, or their jobs. Ryan turned his screen slightly and gave Erica a discreet nod. Lena's profile now had a red, unauthorized badge next to it. James stepped forward. Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. On what grounds? Lena asked. System flag. Ryan answered. For what reason? Priya cut in. She was listed an hour ago. That's an internal breach. James ignored her. Security's coming, Gordon added. Finally. Diego spoke to his camera. They're trying to erase her from the system in real time. 95,000 people watching, and they think they'll get away with it. Erica leaned in and lowered her voice just enough to sound sinister. You should have walked out when you had the chance, Lena said calmly. You'll wish I had. Priya pulled out a second device. I've sent copies of the live stream and profile changes to our legal archive. They're locked and time-stamped. Maya's voice came back. Escalation triggered. Bloomberg just picked up the stream. You're going wide now. Lena. In the center of the showroom, the flat screens mounted on the walls suddenly switched feeds. A breaking news alert from Bloomberg. Discrimination at Dallas dealership. Live stream raises questions at Pinnacle Autos. The room went quiet. Customers stopped walking. Phones rose into the air like hands in a classroom. James paled. Erica blinked, caught off guard for the first time. Gordon tried to cover his face with his blazer. Priya whispered, This is your moment. Don't blink. Lena took one step forward. You tried to bury me in your system. Now watch how deep this goes. Diego spun his phone around and faced the camera. Everyone watching, tag news outlets, screenshot everything. The people in this room are trying to delete accountability. Ryan, rattled, quickly minimized the client portal and stepped away from his desk. Priya walked over to the main display screen and plugged in a corporate tablet. Within seconds, footage from the moment Lena walked in was replaying. Erica's voice filled the room. People like you don't shop for cars like this. The sound echoed. Customers gasped. One woman covered her mouth. Another whispered. She really said that? Lena stayed still, poised, composed. James turned to Erica. Is that your voice? It's taken out of context, she mumbled. Gordon backed away from the Mercedes. This is overblown, he muttered, but no one was listening anymore. Diego's viewer count passed 120,000. You're seeing it live, he said. No editing, no cuts, just the truth. Lena stepped forward again. You want me gone? Then remove me, but know this. I'm not walking out quietly. I'm walking out with proof. Erica looked at James. Do something. James gestured toward the front. Let security handle it. Priya turned to Lena. Do you want to stop this now? Lena shook her head. No. Let them keep going. I want the truth fully exposed before I take control. Maya's voice returned. Phase 3 is ready. Lena gave a nod. Wait for the call. Let them make the next mistake. At the front doors, 2 mall security guards approached. Erica raised her hand, pointing at Lena. That's her, the one causing all this. The guards looked confused. Diego shouted. She owns this place. They just don't know it yet. Erica stiffened. That's nonsense. Lena simply replied. Not for long. Erica wasn't done. She stepped between Lena and the Mercedes, planting herself like a barrier, arms folded tight. If you're not going to leave, then prove you belong here. Show me your financials. Otherwise, step back. The words were absurd, and Lena didn't entertain them. She simply looked her in the eye. You're requesting bank records to stand near a car? James joined in, voice hardening. She's disrupting the floor. Erica, if she won't cooperate, we'll have her escorted. Gordon chuckled from behind them. She probably doesn't have a credit score worth writing down. Then louder. Try leasing. Diego turned his camera back to him. You're on record mocking someone's financials based on skin color. Gordon rolled his eyes. Nobody's saying that, but he was, and everyone knew it. Ryan stepped up from his desk, still clutching his tablet, and spoke directly into his walkie. Security request confirmed. Mall police inbound. She's classified as a disturbance. Lena remained still. You just lied to law enforcement. Ryan shrugged. Your bracelet's not going to fix that. But it already had. The bracelet buzzed gently. Maya's voice returned. Police call has been logged and time-stamped. Confirmed violation. Lena didn't reply. She didn't need to. Victor Reed, the on-site security guard, emerged from the rear entrance, heavy-set and stiff in posture. He walked past James and went straight for Lena. Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to step away from the vehicle. Lena calmly replied. I'm not touching it. You've been flagged, Victor said, gesturing toward Ryan. They said you were aggressive. Priya stepped forward. That's a lie. She hasn't raised her voice once. Victor raised a hand. I don't need a lawyer right now, Priya countered. Then maybe you need a better job description, because what you're doing is illegal, James snapped. Don't threaten my staff. Diego's voice cut through again. A black woman being threatened by security in a dealership she walked into peacefully. 150,000 people are watching. Lena took a breath. She turned to Priya and handed her a small, black security chip. Lock Protocol 9, she said. Priya inserted it into her tablet. A green light pulsed once. All the recordings, system logs, edits, and live streams were sealed in Novatech's internal archive. It's locked, Priya confirmed. Erica sneered. You're recording us? That's illegal. Priya didn't blink. You'll find the law isn't on your side today. Gordon took a step closer. You people always play victim. The way he said you people dropped like a hammer in the room. A woman in the back gasped. A man dropped his keys. Lena finally turned to face him fully. Say that again, slowly, so the world hears you clearly. Gordon backed off, suddenly aware of how many phones were pointed at him. That's not what I meant, Diego, holding his camera steady, said. It's exactly what you meant. Meanwhile, Erica motioned for Victor. Remove her now. Victor took a step forward. Lena stepped aside, avoiding contact, but he swiped at her handbag and pushed it roughly against her side. Hands off, he barked. I said step away. A collective gasp rose from the room. Priya shouted. That's assault, James yelled over her. She was warned. Erica pointed at Lena. She's provoking security. But the room was shifting. Customers who'd stayed silent were now murmuring loudly, shaking their heads, pulling out phones. One older man said, "This is disgusting," a woman whispered. "She didn't do anything." Lena stood tall, adjusting her coat calmly. "Now you've shown who you really are," Priya whispered. "Do I pull legal now?" Lena shook her head. "Not yet. Let them keep digging." Behind them, the screens around the showroom flickered again. Bloomberg had cut to live footage. Diego's stream was now embedded on their homepage. The banner read, "Breaking. Pinnacle Autos faces civil rights backlash as police called on black customer." Erica looked up, pale now. James staggered back into the office. Priya moved toward the tablet display and highlighted the flag database entry. "This was edited less than 10 minutes ago," she said. "Internal tampering confirmed." Lena nodded slowly. "Now it's time." But before she could speak, the glass entrance doors opened. 2 uniformed police officers stepped in. Their expressions were calm but alert. Victor walked over immediately. "That's her. The woman causing the scene." One officer turned toward Lena. "Ma'am, are you all right?" That stopped the room. Not, "What happened?" Not, "We've had a complaint." Just, "Are you all right?" Lena answered, voice steady. "I've been profiled, falsely flagged, insulted, and physically shoved in front of hundreds of witnesses. And everything is on camera." Diego held up his phone. "Including from the moment she walked in." The second officer turned to Victor. "Did you lay hands on her?" Victor hesitated. "She was refusing commands." Priya held up the tablet. "She was standing still." The first officer looked at Erica. "What's your position here?" "I'm the floor manager," she replied. "She refused verification." "Which means what? Client identity, high-end inventory, policy?" The second officer raised a brow. "So she wanted to look at a car?" "Yes." "And you called us for that?" Erica opened her mouth. No sound came out. Diego turned the camera again. "This is what abuse of power looks like, and it's all unraveling live." James tried to interrupt. "We were just following procedure." "Your procedure's racist," someone shouted from the back. The room turned into a wave of voices. "Phones up, eyes locked," Priya whispered. "Now, Lena." Lena stepped forward. "Ryan Tate coordinated the police call. James Holt flagged my ID. Erica Monroe demanded bank records. Gordon Vance made racial slurs. Victor Reed shoved me. And every second of it is documented." James turned white. Gordon stepped back. Ryan looked like he might bolt. Diego spoke again. "We're at 185,000 viewers." The officers exchanged looks, one said. "We're going to need statements." Lena nodded. "You'll get them. But first." She turned to the largest screen and pressed a button on Priya's tablet. Novatech's internal feed opened. A corporate watermark flashed. Then came the phrase, "CEO Live Test Authorized, Dr. Lena Harper." Erica blinked. James's mouth opened. Ryan took a step back. Gordon muttered. "Wait." "What?" Priya whispered. "They know now," Diego whispered. "Oh my God." Lena took one last look around the room. Then, softly, she said, "I own Pinnacle Autos." Erica didn't blink. She didn't apologize. Even after the reveal, even after the showroom screens flashed, "CEO Live Test Authorized, Dr. Lena Harper." She stood in place, jaw tight, arms crossed. "This is a stunt," she spat. "There's no way you—" But her words collapsed under the weight of what she'd already seen. Lena didn't move. She didn't need to. Priya stepped forward, holding the corporate tablet with Novatech's verification seal pulsing quietly on screen. "It's not a stunt. She's your employer." James Holt stumbled back into view, pale and unsteady. This is some setup." Lena turned her gaze toward him. "No." James, this is an audit. One I've been preparing for weeks. Ryan looked like a man trying to figure out whether to run or vanish. Gordon Vance stepped away, shoulders stiff, avoiding every phone pointed at him. But Erica refused to yield. She waved her hand toward Victor, the security guard, and barked. "Get her out of here anyway. This is private property." Victor, caught between confusion and conditioning, stepped forward, his hand brushing his radio. "Erica," Lena said calmly, "if you lay another hand on me, your next paycheck will come from unemployment." Victor hesitated. His jaw worked, but he didn't move again. Still, Erica kept going. "You can't just walk in here, pretend to be a customer, and flip everything upside down. That's entrapment," Priya answered, her voice cool. "It's not entrapment. It's executive oversight. Legal teams are already reviewing the footage." Diego's stream surged past 200,000 viewers. The comment feed was moving so fast it looked like a blur. CNN had picked up the story in real time. A banner ran across the bottom of every showroom screen. CEO tests staff at her own dealership. Livestream sparks corporate reckoning. The temperature in the room shifted. Customers weren't whispering anymore. They were angry. Some spoke loudly to each other about what they had just seen. A mother shook her head and whispered, "I teach my daughter better than this." An older black man muttered, "They never thought she had power. Now look." Still, Erica pointed at Lena like the truth hadn't changed anything. "You lied to us. You wore those clothes, drove that car, used a fake name. You wanted to trap us." "No," Lena said evenly. "I wanted to see you, as you are, when no one's watching." "This isn't fair," Erica shouted. "You humiliated us." "No," Lena said again. "You humiliated yourselves. I just recorded it." And with that, Erica snapped. She turned to Victor and yelled, "I said remove her now." Victor, uncertain but pressured, reached out and grabbed Lena's arm. The room erupted. Priya shouted, "Let her go!" Diego gasped. "Are you serious right now?" Two nearby customers stepped forward. One raised his voice. "She owns the place. What are you doing?" Lena didn't pull back. She didn't resist. She just stood there, her expression unmoved as Victor gripped her elbow and turned her toward the door. The police officers hadn't left. They stepped forward instantly. "Let her go," one of them ordered. Victor hesitated. She was. But his words failed. The officer said again, louder, "Let her go." Victor released her arm and stepped back, breathing hard. "I didn't mean." But it was too late. Priya marched to James, holding the corporate directive in her hand. "This is a pre-authorized CEO compliance operation, signed, logged, and scheduled internally. Any resistance is now a direct challenge to executive authority." James looked like he might faint. "She should have told us." "She shouldn't have had to," Priya snapped. "You told on yourselves." Erica, still fuming, shouted, "This is all performance. You think some live stream and a fake little stunt makes her a saint?" Lena turned toward her one last time. "No. It makes me accountable. Something you've never learned to be." At that moment, Lena's bracelet buzzed twice. She looked down. Maya's voice entered her ear. "Protocol 9 complete. All data packaged. Ready for submission." "Submit it," Lena said quietly. Priya tapped her tablet and sent the full report to corporate headquarters, HR compliance, and internal audit. Screens inside the showroom changed again, this time showing a corporate approval message, Protocol 9 complete, all findings under review. But Lena wasn't done. She looked across the room and saw something that made her heart pause. In the far corner, Tasha Brooks, a young black marketing executive who had been quietly shopping near the SUVs, was being waved off by another salesperson, A white man. He was shaking his head, saying something inaudible, motioning toward the door. Tasha looked stunned, frozen. It was happening again. Right then, even after everything. Lena stepped past Victor, past Erica, and approached. "Ma'am," the salesman started, trying to explain. She was asking questions outside her appointment window, and... Lena cut him off. "What's your name?" "Kyle," he said, shrinking slightly. "Kyle, this is Ms. Tasha Brooks. She is a marketing executive with a valid appointment and every right to be here." Kyle looked down. I didn't know, but you decided anyway." Lena turned to Tasha. "Did he stop you from seeing what you asked about?" Tasha nodded, quietly. "He said it wasn't worth showing." Priya walked over. "Recording." Lena took a breath. "Kyle, you'll be included in the report. Step aside." Kyle obeyed, retreating toward the side hall. Face flushed, Lena turned back to Tasha. "You stay. You deserve better. And you're going to get it." Tasha looked overwhelmed but nodded. "Thank you." The showroom was silent. No one moved. Then Diego said quietly into his phone, "You're watching it live, even with cameras, even after the reveal. They tried to do it again. This isn't about image. It's about instinct. And some of these people's instincts are rotten." Lena faced the center of the room again, her voice calm, strong. "Every person in this building who stood by or took part. You are being evaluated. This wasn't a trap. This was truth." And with that, she looked to Priya. "Call Maya. Tell her we begin final phase, now." When Lena walked back into the center of the showroom, this time in a tailored graphite blazer, everything stopped. Her walk was measured. Her eyes didn't scan. They locked, one by one, on Erica, on James, on Ryan, on Victor, and lastly, on Gordon. The tension shifted from confusion to dread. Even the showroom's polished granite floors seemed to echo with a different tone now, like they recognized who was in charge. The corporate seal on the screen pulsed behind her. CNN had moved from the banner to full segment coverage, broadcasting clips from Diego's stream. A news ticker ran beneath it. Black CEO tests her own dealership, fires staff after public profiling. Priya followed behind, tablet in hand, expression firm. "They've all been logged," she whispered. Lena nodded. She stopped directly in front of Erica, who still had her arms crossed but whose smirk was gone. "Erica Monroe," Lena began, her voice calm and razor-sharp. "Effective immediately. You are terminated from your role as showroom manager at Pinnacle Autos." Erica blinked. "You don't have that power." "I do," Lena replied. "I always did. You just never thought I looked the part." She turned slightly. "James Holt, sales supervisor. You oversaw this department. You sanctioned a security call based on a falsified client flag and stood silent while your team humiliated 2 black women in under 20 minutes. You're fired." James opened his mouth, then closed it again, face pale. "Ryan Tate," Lena continued. "You manipulated the internal database, flagged my client ID, and actively coordinated a false report. Your access has already been revoked. Security will escort you out," Ryan stammered. "I didn't know." But Lena raised her hand, and he stopped. "You knew enough to lie," she said. "That's all I need to know." Her eyes turned. "Victor Reed, you put your hands on me without cause, under orders that were never lawful. You're dismissed from this facility and banned from future contracts under Harper Automotive Group." Victor nodded slowly, stunned silent. Lena turned last to Gordon Vance. "You are not an employee, so I can't fire you. But your presence is no longer welcome. Your behavior, your language, your lies. They're all documented and streaming across 3 platforms. I've already spoken to your firm's board. Your partnership with us is over." Gordon tried to speak, but Lena walked past him. She turned to address the room. This dealership was built to represent excellence, but today, it represented bias, cruelty, and cowardice. That ends now. Applause broke out, first quiet, then louder, from customers, from Diego, even from staff who had stood silent until now. Lena nodded once and then faced Priya. Protocol 9? Complete, Priya confirmed. And corporate has begun final action. HR teams will arrive within the hour. Good. Lena stepped toward the center screen and tapped the tablet Priya handed her. The corporate feed split into 4 windows, each showing archived footage, Erica demanding verification, Gordon pushing the phone, Ryan flagging her name, Victor grabbing her arm. This is what corporate culture cannot allow, Lena said. This is what gets hidden. Until now. Diego zoomed in. This is what justice looks like in real time. Priya stepped closer. We've also uncovered buried reports. Lena's jaw tensed slightly. How many? 22. Priya said. All tied to Erica. Most from Black and Latino clients. James marked them resolved. None were investigated. Lena closed her eyes for a moment. How far back? Over 4 years. Lena looked up. And corporate missed it? James buried the paper trail. Internal compliance never saw them. But with Protocol 9 active, all filtered reports were recovered. Lena's voice dropped. Make sure every name is contacted, every voice heard. Priya nodded. Already in progress. Diego's stream jumped past 250,000 viewers. The comment feed filled with phrases like, she's a legend. This is accountability. And why can't every CEO do this? Lena's bracelet buzzed again. Maya's voice came through. Media wants a statement. Lena shook her head. Not yet. The cameras can wait. The people come first. She walked over to the front counter where Erica had once stood and looked at the space for a long moment. Then she turned to face the staff who remained, those who hadn't spoken, who hadn't mocked, but who also hadn't stopped it. I know what silence looks like, she said. I lived under it for years, but today's your line in the sand. If you want to work in a place where people are judged by skin instead of merit, this is your exit. But if you want to rebuild something better, you stay, and you prove it. One young woman stepped forward. I want to stay. Another nodded. Me too. Lena gave a quiet nod of approval. Then we begin again, but not as Pinnacle Autos. She tapped the tablet. The logo on the showroom screen faded. A new name took its place. Welcome to Harmony Motors, she said. This place is no longer run by fear or favoritism. From this moment forward, it stands for fairness. A long silence followed. Then Diego whispered to his audience. This might be the most powerful thing I've ever filmed. Lena glanced back at Erica, who hadn't moved. You built this fate with your choices. Now live with them. Erica turned to leave, shoulders tense. James followed, head low. Ryan said nothing as he disappeared behind the service hallway. Victor walked out without a word. Gordon tried to push through the crowd but was surrounded by customers filming his retreat. Lena let them go. She didn't gloat. She didn't smirk. She simply stood in the center of the space they had once controlled and claimed it back. Quietly, permanently, with purpose. By the time the sun dipped behind the Dallas skyline, Harmony Motors had already begun its transformation. The showroom, still gleaming under LED chandeliers, felt different now. Not because of the name change flashing proudly on every screen, but because of the silence, a respectful, listening silence. Lena stood at the center, now surrounded not by opposition, but by people finally ready to understand. Priya stood beside her, tablet in hand, already drafting the framework for the Nova Equity Program. We're implementing it across all locations, she said, Mandatory bias training, quarterly equity audits, transparent hiring reports, anonymous reporting lines. Lena nodded. And compensation reviews. We don't just clean the surface. We go deep. Diego turned his camera toward her again, speaking softly to his followers. You're watching history unfold. A billionaire didn't just fire people today. She redefined leadership. Lena stepped toward the main desk, the same one where Erica had once pointed her away like an inconvenience. She pressed her palm to a biometric pad. A drawer opened. Inside was the core Harmony file, digital contracts, employee evaluations, internal surveillance triggers, all now under Lena's command. Activate TruePath, she said. Priya tapped the screen, and a new program launched, developed in secret by Novatech. TruePath was an AI-driven bias monitor that reviewed employee interactions, flagged discrimination patterns, and cross-referenced them with internal reports. It wasn't surveillance. It was accountability. TruePath is active, Priya confirmed. It's learning the showroom's behavior in real time. Lena looked around. Then it's already doing better than the last management team. Outside, a small crowd had gathered. Community members, local press, even former clients who had once walked away after being ignored. On the main screen above the entrance, a live feed played Harmony Motors' mission statement, followed by an open apology signed by Lena herself. We failed, we saw, we heard, but we didn't act. Until now. One of the customers stepped inside, an older woman in a navy suit. You don't know me, she told Lena quietly. But 2 years ago, they told me to come back with my husband if I wanted to test drive. Lena nodded slowly. I know now. And I'm sorry? The woman smiled. Today, I came back for my apology, but I'm staying to buy. Diego's stream lit up. Comments poured in. She didn't cancel them. She replaced them with integrity. This is how we win. Harmony Motors just set a new standard. But beneath the applause, Priya's tablet buzzed. She frowned. We've got a problem. Lena turned. What is it? Priya expanded the alert. It's from internal records. A group of former employees, Erica's inner circle, accessed archived audit credentials before they were locked. They tried to inject false reports into the system, backdated, fabricated, trying to make you look like you doctored the files. Lena's expression hardened. Who led it? Ryan. Priya answered. He started the injection. Erica made the call. They coordinated using a VPN through one of our satellite offices. Diego looked stunned. Even after being fired? Priya nodded. They didn't leave clean. They left angry. Lena stepped closer. Were they successful? Almost. Priya said. But I had TruePath tracking all access attempts during the transition. When it flagged inconsistencies, it froze the injection and logged the source trail. She turned the tablet to show the dashboard. We caught them. Fully. Lena looked at the screen, then slowly nodded. File it with legal. Copy media relations. Send the summary to Diego for transparency. Priya raised an eyebrow. All of it? Every bite, Lena said. If we're going to lead, we lead without shadows. Moments later, Diego was holding up the tablet live on his stream. They tried to sabotage the reform, but the AI caught them before they could hide it. This isn't just change, it's protection. Outside, the crowd had grown. People were holding up signs now, not protest signs, welcome signs, support signs. Bias stops here. I see you. Harmony starts today, Priya whispered. They're not just watching. They're joining. Lena walked to the glass doors and opened them herself. Let them in, she said. Let them see what we're building. And as the community stepped inside, diverse, cautious, hopeful, Lena stood back and let the moment breathe. She had taken the power back not with noise or vengeance, but with clarity, with proof, and with something even rarer in business: humility. "This place is yours too," she told them. "As long as you're ready to hold it to the same standard," one woman asked. "What will happen to the others, the ones who tried to sabotage it?" Priya answered, "Legal action is in progress, and they've been permanently banned from future contracts." Another voice asked, "How can we help?" Lena smiled. "You just did. You walked in." At that moment, the screens above the service desk updated again, showing the final slide of the launch. Harmony Motors, built on dignity, powered by equity, open to all. The next morning, news stations across the country opened with the same headline: "Black CEO reclaims her own dealership. Public firings spark national conversation." Harmony Motors trended for the second day in a row, not because of scandal, but because of something much harder to define: integrity. Lena didn't do interviews. She didn't give press conferences. She simply went back to work. She met with her team, reviewed the Nova Equity rollout, and began planning the fund she'd been waiting years to build. The Harmony Fund launched that Friday, dedicated to providing education grants, transportation stipends, and business mentorships for underserved communities. Lena seeded it with $10 million from her personal holdings. Priya called it the most important initiative Harper Automotive had ever supported. Diego covered the launch on his stream, noting how Lena's actions had gone from reaction to reform to legacy in under a week. But beneath all the applause, one more story was quietly unfolding. A former technician named Aaron Malone, who had worked under James and Erica for 3 years, stepped forward anonymously at first, then publicly on Diego's platform. "I filed a complaint in 2022, he said. "Erica laughed in my face. James buried it. I was moved to night shifts and later pushed out. I never thought anyone would listen." Diego interviewed him directly. Lena watched in silence, then picked up the phone. She offered Aaron a job, not in a showroom, but in oversight. "You know what they did. I need people like you making sure it never happens again." He accepted. That night, Diego's stream hit 500,000 viewers, but Lena wasn't chasing metrics. She was chasing truth. In a private boardroom, she told her leadership team, "What happened wasn't an isolated moment. It was a mirror, and mirrors don't lie. We either shatter them or start cleaning what we see." The team agreed to publish the full Harmony report online. Every finding, every reform, every name, with legal permissions, redactions, and consent from victims. The move shocked corporate America. CEOs from other industries reached out, asking for the Nova Equity model. Some copied it, others criticized her transparency, but Lena didn't care. She hadn't built Harmony Motors for applause. She built it because silence had cost too many people too much for too long. 1 week later, Tasha Brooks, the young black executive who'd been denied a walkthrough by a dismissed employee, returned to the dealership. She didn't come for a refund or an apology. She came to buy, and when she picked out her car, a deep blue Mercedes GLE, Lena joined her at the desk. "This one's yours," Lena said. "No markup, no hassle, no nonsense." Tasha smiled. "That's not what I expected." Lena smiled back. "Exactly," as Tasha drove off the lot. The camera caught her glancing back at the glass doors, where the words, "Harmony starts here," were etched in soft gold across the country. Civic organizations began requesting Lena for talks, panels, leadership retreats. She declined most of them, but she did agree to one, at a public school in South Dallas. She stood in front of 50 high school girls, most of them black or brown, and told them, "You don't have to shout to be powerful. You don't have to fight every battle in armor. But when your moment comes, when the room goes quiet and everyone looks your way, You better be ready to speak like you built the foundation they're standing on. Because sometimes you did. Priya watched from the back. So did Diego. A week after that speech, Lena received a letter, handwritten, from a former client, anonymous. I walked away from Pinnacle Autos 3 years ago. No one saw me. No one cared. I never filed a complaint. I just left. But yesterday I walked into Harmony Motors. They opened the door for me. They saw me. They asked what I needed. And I cried. In front of strangers. Thank you. Lena kept the letter in her desk. Not for press. Not for validation. But for days when she needed to remember why she'd done it all. And as for the ones she fired, Erica, James, Ryan, Victor, their reputations followed them. None found work in the industry again. Not because Lena blacklisted them, but because the truth had done it on its own. As for Gordon Vance, his investment firm came under audit pressure and dropped his name from their partner list. He disappeared from public view within weeks. Harmony Motors. Meanwhile, expanded. 3 more locations adopted Nova Equity within the quarter. TruePath flagged issues early. The culture shifted. Staff turnover dropped. Sales rose. Customers returned. But more importantly, dignity returned. Respect returned. Justice wasn't just spoken. It was built into the walls at the end of that year. Lena stood in the middle of the showroom once more. She looked around at the place they said she didn't belong in, then looked down at the floor where her phone had once been knocked from her hand. She smiled, just barely, and whispered to herself, "Still standing?" Outside, a new banner hung above the front entrance. It didn't say CEO, it didn't say billionaire. It said something far better. This space belongs to everyone who was once told they didn't. And inside, Harmony kept moving, stronger, fairer, and louder in its quiet truth than any shouting ever could be. If this story spoke to you, like the video, subscribe for more stories that matter, and drop a comment. We read every one.